Your Homeland Security correspondent, Julia Ainsley. Shaq, I know we've seen days of protests in Minnesota after Renee Good's death, and her family released a new statement a short time ago. What does it say?
Yeah, no, they thanked everyone for their support, and they also said that they're heartbroken by her loss. One nugget in there is that they said Renee, who they call Nene, she's someone who was the writer of the family, and they said they were struggling to put this statement together without her being there. I want to pull up a quote from the statement where they go on to say, the kind and unending care we've been given during this time is exactly the kind that she gave to everyone. Nay was the beautiful light of our family and brought joy to anyone she met. She was relentlessly hopeful and optimistic, which was contagious. We all already miss her more than words could ever express. And you're seeing that similar mourning here at the site where she was killed exactly a week ago. There's a vigil or a memorial that's been here, and there was a vigil earlier today, a 3-hour-long vigil by faith leaders in this community. You really get the sense that, yes, there are those clashes that are happening. There's the opposition to the increased immigration enforcement, but there is still that sense of mourning and sadness, especially a week after her death.
Yeah, and Julia, let me let Zinkley go to you. Sorry.
Oh, all good, because in addition to that emotion, that sadness, we're also seeing some action. Specifically, Julia, I know you've been reporting on the resignation of these federal prosecutors out of the state. What have you learned from Minnesota?
Yeah, that's right. We learned that 6 federal prosecutors in the Minnesota's U.S. Attorney's Office have actually stepped down, one last week, the rest all this week, because they don't like the direction the federal probe is going into Good's death. They say that it's too focused on her past, on her partner, and not enough on the incidents around the shooting and on the officer himself and whether or not he might have violated the policies and her civil rights. Now, in a statement from the Justice Department, they said that there is no need for a criminal civil rights investigation into what happened because they said there's no basis to show that the officer criminally violated her civil rights. But now we have 6 people stepping down, including Joe Thompson, who was previously the acting U.S. attorney there, who did a lot of the investigation into the fraud in Minnesota that was an impetus for the Trump administration to start sending immigration agents to Minneapolis in the first place.
And Julia, I know we have new numbers out from DHS about arrests in Minneapolis. What does it show?
Yeah, that's right. It's quite staggering. Over 2,400 arrests just since November 29th. That's when ICE officers first began focusing on Minneapolis. Then they added over 2,000 more officers just days before Good's death, and they're adding hundreds more Border Patrol agents. And now we understand that as of last night, they've arrested 2,400 people. That's up from 1,400 arrests that we heard just in the hours before Good's death. But a DHS official I spoke to said, don't assume that that 1,000 people were necessarily arrested in a week, because sometimes the numbers take a while to trickle in. But I must say, this is a staggering number of arrests in a short time and really shows how this administration is not backing down on immigration action in this city.
Julia Ainsley, Shaq Brewster, thanks to you both.
And we are watching out for the 4 NASA astronauts that are preparing to return to Earth. It comes after a medical issue with a crew member on board.
The International Space Station's departure comes weeks earlier than planned. It is the first time in the space station's 25-year history that a mission has been cut short because of a medical problem while in orbit.
NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello covers aviation and space and joins us now. Tom, so where does this mission stand right now?
Well, you're looking at a live picture right there. That is the Crew 11 crew inside their spaceship. They have already closed the hatch at the International Space Station. They're doing their final preps now to begin backing away from the station. That'll be at just after 5 o'clock or so, and then they will start returning to Earth. The splashdown time at this moment is still set for 3:41 Eastern Time off the coast of California, 3:41 a.m. tomorrow morning. A reminder, one of the 4 crew members, NASA is not saying which one of them has what is described as a serious medical condition that needs treatment on the ground. And so this is an unprecedented action. NASA cutting short this mission in order to get them all back on the ground. NASA continues to describe that sole astronaut as being stable, but again, needs to get back on Earth where they have proper diagnostic equipment and the proper medical equipment as well. So again, we are watching this live as you and I speak. That's a Dragon SpaceX capsule, and they will back away at about 5:05 or so, we believe.
Tom, I'm staring at the picture. There's 4 of them in there, right? So you can only see a couple people, but all 4 of them are there. How has it been going on the space station since they had to leave early? And when do they send the replacements?
Yeah, and as a reminder, they're not the only ones on the station, but we did in fact see yesterday a change of command ceremony on the space station because one of the 4 happened to take over as the space station commander. That's Michael Fink. And so here you see right there, Michael Fink, who's on the far left, the American, handing over command to the Russian who's on board the station. And that will leave just 3 people on the station now. 2 Russians, 1 American. Chris Williams in the very back there, the African-American gentleman, is from Potomac, Maryland. He's a PhD, and I think it's bionuclear engineering. But he remains on station along with those 2 Russians. And so to your point, you're absolutely right. They now need to NASA needs to get 4 more astronauts up on station just to simply operate that big of a piece of equipment. So they're trying to get crew 12 up on station, hopefully within a month or so.
Keeping hopes high. Tom Costello, thank you. And Tom will continue, as well as all of our network